the Wednesday week. It's like catching up in the pub after the match, with people you don't like.
Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome with once again another episode of the Wednesday week and another intro that I've done that sounds a lot like what's his face back in the day, David Frost. I don't know why I started to employ that. But tonight is brought to you by food. We've got a food-based show for you this evening. Now, sporting a cheese grater injury tonight, he's braved it. He's managed to man up, and I don't even know. Actually, is that a phrase you're allowed to say anymore? I don't know. But he's being a big brave dog. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line we've got Eddie.
I have personed up. I'm not gender specific. There was a grater related injury. I'm still bleeding. You know, I'm just like Daniel Poodle, basically. I'm doing this for the Wednesday. I don't care. I will shed my blood for this club, and that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm
proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. And it was just an intimate one tonight. A trio, a triage, a menage a three.
The dream.
You know, I know, innit, right? Innit?
Keep talking. I'm almost
tonight. Tonight we've got on the line with a bag of mini cheddars. We've got Vic.
Hi. Yeah, I do have a bag of mini cheddars. My dog is currently begging for them, so let me give her one. I went to the shop to go and get dog food because I realised I was out of dog food for the morning, and I went past like a big, not a big bag of mini cheddars, but like a crisp-sized bag of mini cheddars, and I thought, fucking hell, it's been years since I've had mini cheddars. So I've had about 5 now. I'm loving life.
The best mini cheddars are those crinkly ones, the spring onion crinkly ones. They're the absolute
these are just regular. These are just original.
Start with that. You know what? Mini cheddars have become it's such a thing that everyone in this country knows, to the point where I introduced my daughter to regular sized cheddars. So obviously, you know, they come the size of a Jacob's cream cracker.
Oh yeah,
round cheddars, right? Okay. She calls them big mini cheddars. I'm like, no, they're not big mini cheddars. They're just cheddars. I digress.
So. Join us next week for more snack chat. So, anyway, right then, staying with the food theme. Now, if I wanted to get myself a bit of a snack before I went to the game, you know, something like a pasty or a
sausage roll,
sausage roll on a polystyrene plate. Where would I go for that, Vic?
I'd recommend, Fudge, that you went to the Riverside Cafe on Catchbell Lane, now open on match days.
Can I get a pint outside?
You can't have just eaten a pint. I thought I was done.
Best promo we've ever done.
I don't think they sell mini cheddars because, like I said, I've not seen any for ages.
They've got scampy fries. I've never seen mini cheddars.
Well, rubbish. Anyway, staying with the food theme once again. We're going to be talking about a load of tripe tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So, you see what I did there? You see what I did? I wound it all in. It was good, wasn't it? So, we're going to be talking about a load of tripe tonight. That was Sheffield Wednesday's last week. Now, it's not been a great week for us, but I'm sure we'll get into all that. And well, where do we start? It seems like a million years ago now, doesn't it? Now, we've got the Boro game to get through, which had some ups. But you know, mainly a massive down. Had a few selection bits. I mean, Vic, we had JWoww, we had Joao and Fletch up front with Reach operating what we call in Sunday League the cam roll. I mean, how do you feel that went?
Well,
that good.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm taken aback recently with these different selections and stuff. And do you know what? And I feel like such a sodding hypocrite for saying this. And most people who listen will be like, "Yeah, you are a hypocrite. Go wash the pots." But like, we do too much chopping and changing recently, and it just seems to be like every game we don't know who's going to be playing, do we? Like, I know there's been injuries, obviously, at Sheffield Wednesday. There's been suspensions, etc. But not really being sort of consistency with not only a squad, which, there's been like the spine of the team, whatever, but positions as well. Like people seem to just be, 1 week Reacher's up front, next week Reacher's at right back, next week. It just seems to be a bit too much. But then again, I think back to the Carlos days, God bless them, and changed out, did we? So I don't know what to think really. I didn't like a lot of the positioning. I'm not gonna lie. I'd quite like Reach operating from behind. I believe they call that a reach around, Fudge. Oh, she can make a dirty joke after a packet of
Oh, she's blue. She's blue. Watch out for her. She's blue.
1 foot dance. But yeah, I don't know. It's not working for me at the moment. It's not working. I'm sorry. I don't like being negative about it all, because I do think, I've said a million times, we've got a good squad. We've got some brilliant individual players, which I'm sure we'll come on to in a bit. But for me, there's a bit too much chopping and changing. And I feel like such a woman when I say that, because if we don't chop and change, I say that we need to make changes, but it just feels a little bit too much.
So you like a bit of change, but not too much. I appreciate that. I think you're right. I think there's an element to that of that we don't really know what our formation is. I mean, that might be a tactic employed by Joss, just to keep it fresh and to keep us to all the homework that they've done on us to make them go, well, actually, let's chuck it in the bin, because we don't really know our formation. We started out playing 5-3-2, then we went 5-4-1. We don't, so there's an element of that to it, but I mean, let's get to the game itself. I mean, the first half was nothing short of just dreadful. I mean, I've just watched the latest episode of The Walking Dead tonight, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but even that was better than the first half of football that we saw against Middlesbrough.
More lively.
Oh God, there's a lot going on, and that's got zombies in it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so was our back four, to be fair.
Well, you see, the segues on this show already, they're absolutely glorious.
It wasn't a reach round though, was it? Let's be honest. Oh God. It's going to be like when I replied to his story on Instagram by accident. Someone's going to tell him that I made that joke about it. Someone's going to tell him that. And that is, I'm going to be that woman.
Yeah, you are. You're going to be the stalkery one. But yeah, first off, I mean, bear in mind, this is a game that we didn't really expect to get a lot out of. I think if we'd have been honest with ourselves, given the injuries and the rest of it, I think a draw would have been something we'd have gone home not happy with, but would have gone, fair, we got nice stick of points off them. So we weren't expecting the moon on a stick with this game. But then the second half happened, Eddie. And, well, without me swearing, you tell me what happened.
It's so typical Wednesday, wasn't it? That a team that did not threaten us at all in the first half. I don't know whether we dragged Boro down to our level, or they are just not as good a team as their league position suggests. That the first half was almost a relegation tussle between two teams who were in the top six, which made no sense. Coming back after half time, and this is a half time where I said this game's for the winning. If we step up our performance, they're not at it today. What we did was we stepped off our performance to the point where we just did the usual Wednesday, get out of the tunnel, have no clue why you're there or what you're being paid to do, and just concede a goal straight away. It was... We've seen it so many times, and I don't know why we don't learn the lesson. And it's not about the way we set up, and it's not about the personnel. It's got nothing to do with the tactics, and I don't think it's got anything to do with the way that Jos talks to them at half-time. But we just have the ability to fall asleep the minute that we line up, facing the Kop, and think, we'll probably get some goals this half. And then before you know it, we're chasing the game. And so it proved again. Really annoying.
For somehow, only Sheffield Wednesday have managed to pull this off. We've managed to find ourselves another, in the depth of, lower league European football, we've managed to find ourselves another Tony Pulis, which is why the football is so bloody dreadful in that first half. We've got Dutch Tony Pulis.
100%. And I don't understand what is missing there. I know, Carlos in his latter years, he'd lost the dressing room, they weren't listening to him, etc. But he seems to have the ability to to not change the game tactically, but to get a team to play with the heart required to see a game out or to recover a bad position. And I don't know what it is about Jos. I don't know whether, Liam Palmer takes one look at his moustache and just zones out and you're not interested anymore. I've got no idea what relationship he has with our players, but we have the ability under him to apparently just be catatonic for the first 20 minutes of every second half. And it doesn't matter whether we're 1-0 down or 4-0 up. We still just do not turn up for that first part of the second half. So, it makes no sense.
Well, no, it doesn't. But then again, the talisman stepped onto the pitch, the big guy, the one that put all the goals in. He's going to sort us all out. He's going to be the one. How did it go, Ed? What do you reckon? How do you think this went? Did we play better? Did he save us?
I honestly, it was a very, very flat performance. When Nuyu came on, he did the traditional Atinuyu role. I know we've become accustomed to Atinuyu, the folk hero, the leader of men, the guy who gets the cop going again.
The leader of men.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Oh! What we got against Boro was not that. We got the Lee Peacock version of Atinuyu. So the original Atinuyu. Version 1 Atinuyu. Big old. No, we love Lee Peacock. Let's not get this twisted, right? And we loved Atinuyu. But what was Lee Peacock's main contribution to Sheffield Wednesday when he was on the pitch? It was running around a lot and clapping. And
I could tell you two things. There was the header for JP at the Millennium Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that
given you lines to say, like literally, hold his cards.
Fudge has got it internalised now, hasn't he? He's got a list of 10 great things.
and the other one is when a streaker ran onto the pitch at Hillsborough and he did the weirdest hover hand. It was absolutely
John Hills
glorious.
just went for it, didn't he? John Hills was like,
Yeah, because Peaks knew that she had chlamydia. He didn't want to talk to her or look at her or even touch her. So
is he like one of those dogs that learns how to sniff out cancer? Does Peaks just like sniff out?
What are we talking about here?
So Nuyu.
OG Nuyu.
Exactly. Yeah. OG Nuyu, right? Just like Lee Peacock, what his value to the team was just fucking shit up. And that's exactly what Nuyu did. He ran around a lot, being really, really annoying and awkward. And he created enough disruption that the cop got excited and then the players got excited. And it actually felt like we were going to go and try and get something out of the game. And look, spoiler warning, it didn't happen. But there was a real step change in the performance from when Atty came onto the pitch, and it just felt like we had a bit of urgency, that we were disrupting their game plan, and that we were winning possession through doing through just hard work. And that's what it was. It was just hard work what he did. It was running around and clapping, Lee Peacock style.
Lee Peacock. All right. So inevitably the game panned out. We were 2-0 down, and I think it was Skybet tweeted early on that day, said goal against Leeds, scorcher. And then it was goal against, who was the other one? The one at West Brom, scorcher.
Yeah, West Brom.
Can he do it again? 16-1 Skybet were offering on another Adam Reach outside of the box slapper. Now, slapper. Thunder chuffer, I think the word is. Now, obviously, I think there was Wednesday fans all across the country were eyeing that bet up on Sky Bet. I certainly did. Thank you very much, Adam. But Vic, I've decided that you have two types of men in your life. That you have a type. Now you have your big, Bernard Bresslaw from Carry On film lookalike, testosterone fueled hairy men, in
rugby player.
Yeah? Yeah. And you also like your baby-faced boy banders.
I do. Fudge, you are so right. When people ask me my type, I'm like, I've got two. I've got two types.
You've got two. It's that.
One
it's Cal Drogo.
One is basically Fudge.
Or Cal Drogo's son.
Yeah. So tell us about that goal. Did you feel like we were going to get anything out of that after you saw it? Did it cheer anybody up?
No, it didn't. It was a cracking goal, as usual. It was a great goal. You know, we've come to expect that from Adam Reach now, and I am wary of that sometimes. When you think back to the Wembley season, how much we thought of Barry Bannon and Forestieri whenever they stepped near the pitch. But I was excited when he scored it. It was a great Adam Reach type goal. But who's huffing at me?
It was me blowing through my nasal passage. Then I've just written a note.
I won't bother.
I tell you what it is. I've just written a note down that says, are you ready for this? That says, find out later on if that toy that the dog's playing with is from Ann Summers.
It is actually a bunny rabbit, but it's
brilliant.
A bunny rabbit.
Here you are, some more fat dads there.
No.
It's a rabbit. There you are, dads.
Uncle Dickie Al won that for her in a raffle. Anyway, so no, it was a cracking goal. It was exciting. It gave a bit of life into the team yet again. But it also, I did get flashbacks, like I said, to the Wembley season, in that we expect a lot from certain players. How would we be without Adam Reach? You think back to the games that we didn't have Bannon and Forestieri. Are we relying on him too much? Should we be relying on him? Is he our best player? I personally would. I'd eat my foot just to even speak to him. So I love him. I love him. But I don't know if we love him too much at the moment. I don't know if he's going to break our hearts in January. You know, there's been news of Wolves sniffing around and whatever else. But yeah, for me, it was a great goal. It was exciting. It livened up the game. But yeah, it was too little, too late.
Yeah, rubbish. But speaking of rubbish, let's move on to our next game. Let's get on. We've talked about, Thunder Chuffers. We've talked about food. We've talked about rabbits. All legitimate football terms these are. But let's get on to Queen's Park Rangers. Now, I went there last night to QPR. I was meeting a friend of mine. It was a bit of a spur of the moment thing, so we just turned up. And I've been to Wembley I've been in London twice now. I went to Wembley for the NFL on Sunday, and I'm sick of seeing the bloody place, if I'm honest. However, football away day. There's nothing like it. You know what I mean? Nobody's telling me to go charge like they were on Sunday. It was proper, just big sweary football experience. And there was an element to this lineup when the lineup was announced that Lees had been dropped, and there was like people were just chatting. Now, Eddie, I'm going to ask you this one. Actually, I'm going to go off notes here. The dropping of Lees. Do you think that's Joss has seen what a good chunk of the fans are saying, or has he seen what they're seeing, or do you think that he's just had a rest and it's another Tinkerman, Claudio Ranieri wannabe type of Tony Pulis change up? What do you reckon? What do you reckon the thinking was behind that? What was the official line?
If it was a kind of a punishment or a retribution for his error against Boro, then that is terrible man management. And I don't know enough about Jos to know whether that is the way that he does things, but that would be an absolute shocker. I don't think there are many Wednesday fans who, if Jos came out and said, I've dropped him on the basis of form and he hasn't been delivering at the level that we expect, either as a centre-back or as the captain, I don't think many Wednesday fans could really put an argument together that says, yes, Tom Lees is playing at the level he has done historically, which has been one of the best centre-backs in this division, or at the level that we expect for him now as a leader. Glenn Loovens has moved on. That leadership role is passed on to Tom Lees. That's a responsibility on Tom Lees. And I don't know whether he's discharged it to the extent that we needed him to. So from a purely football point of view, I can understand why Jos would want to send a message saying, Tom, we need more out of you. You're not delivering on on what is expected of you as captain and senior centre-back. That said, the back four that Jos then picked was almost an invitation for any team to just come and have goes at us. Because that has to be the weakest back four that we have played all season, if not since, I can't even think when. Probably since, pre-Stuart Gray. If you look at the names and the pedigree and the form and the experience, that was just an open invitation to QPR to come and have a go at us.
Yeah, I'm going to go Danny Maddox era, that type of level of defence.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was like the low cut top of invitation for a defence for me, and no wonder we got spanked 3-0. Do you know what I mean? It was like me when I'm wearing my tight jeans at work on a Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Come on now.
If they didn't want to lose 3-0, they wouldn't have gone out dressed like that. Hashtag #2.
Oh God.
Oh, it's awkward. Oh, it's awkward.
Right then, Vic. Ed, let's come to you again quick. Let's just gloss over it. Vic, I'll come to you in a moment. I promise. It's not just a chat between me and Ed. Your mum texted me asking me if you're still listening, if you're still there. I promise she's all right. It's like Paul Merson watching a 0-0 draw on Soccer Saturday. All right. So, Eddie, little Barry, shunned by the Scottish team, which is nothing short of hilarious because they're bloody dreadful and their two best players are left backs. But we've given him the armband. How did you think that played out for him?
You know what? I think that he took the armband and he took the responsibility on. And what he did was the usual. You know when Barry Bannon gets tackled, or he doesn't get a real blatant foul, or he gets the ball taken off him when he's about to score an absolute thunder chuffer. He gets angry and he tries to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Making him captain has that same effect, and he was all over the park. He was leading by example. He was leading from the front. He was doing everything you want from a captain playing in that terrier-like central midfield role. But what it actually did was take away the really, really angry little bastard Barry Bannon. There was not a chance he was going to get a yellow card.
Yeah.
There was not a chance he was going to go mental and just completely destroy someone. It leveled him out. I actually
just smash him up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
normally,
what's the point
Bannon
in Barry Bannon if you're not going to get booked? What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. So he delivered a Barry Bannon performance, but he lacked that edge, that kind of, smash a pint glass on the side of the table and jam it into your face edge that Barry Bannon always had. And to me, although that meant that we got 90 minutes out of him and he kept his head, it wasn't quite the Barry Bannon that we expected to see. The times where he could have had an absolutely madcap shot and just tucked it back in and went to play a ball instead. That's not the Barry Bannon we want. We want Barry Bannon just going absolutely batshit insane. Absolutely.
Yeah. We want more Begbie. Barry Bannon from Train Spotting. That's what we need.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the things. That's one of the things with
Sorry,
Barry Bannon, though, isn't it? That we say all the time, he's too hot-headed to be a captain. He gets into too many arguments with referees, with officials, with opposition players, with his own players. We say that all the time, and then the minute he steps up and acts like a captain, we're like, Barry, throw a punch. Like, it just doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, it was the same with like Paolo Di Canio was arguing with the referees and that sort of stuff. But Vic, I'm going to come to you on this.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll let you finish. But I just want to say, what about Zhao and Nuhu up front? So we've changed it again. We've gone to the next game and we've got Lucas and Adstay up front now. You know what I mean? I know you've got a bit of a soft spot for them because they've got like this little bromance going on, like, you know what I mean? That they were.
I have no soft spot after the other night. Absolutely no soft spot.
Fifth and sixth choice striker. They are like this.
They were both shite, weren't they? We were both awful. And do you know what it is, right? I'm a religious person, Fudge. I go to church.
Oh, yeah.
I pray. I have a Bible. I've got religious tattoos, because I like to go against the Bible. But that beard to me just screams Samson, right? The beard is gone. So is the talent. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. Like, it's just this bald-faced shit striker. I feel awful. I felt awful last night. I was getting so angry with him. Obviously, I'm saying last night, you could be listening to this in like a few days' time. But it was just, there was just nothing there, was there? None of them could hold a pass together. Neither of them. Reach wasn't much better behind. There was just nothing happening. And it wasn't even like, you pick your two probably tallest strikers, I'm pretty sure, up front, and nothing was happening. There was just nothing there. And I don't get it. I don't know if they were being outmarked. I don't know if to be fair, like, because I was watching it on the telly, I don't think I watched it hard enough, if that makes sense. Like, when you're there at the game, you watch, here we go. But you watch like the officials, you watch like where the referee is, you watch like the defense, you do all that. When it's on telly, you get a bit carried away and you just wanting a goal, aren't you?
Follow the ball. Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know if I wasn't watching it properly, but from what I could see, there was just nothing between them. I don't know if they were being outmarked. I think I need to watch highlights back or what. I don't want to watch highlights back. It was awful.
I tell you what, actually, Vic, bringing that up, if you watch the highlights, right, I refresh myself because sometimes it's nice to see the goal from the different angle. So I watched it back.
I mean, when you're sober.
And the highlights were, the first half we were knocking on the door. We had this is what the highlights will tell you, that we had a few shots that went wayward. We were unlucky not to get them on target. Barry had one that just went side of the post. Ooh, you know what I mean? Ooh, that's tight. That's unlucky. But we were bloody dreadful. I mean, they made the highlights made us look like we were doing okay, but we weren't. And I find it very easy to slag off New Hugh because everybody else likes to. It's the same with Morgan Fox and for some reason Cameron Dawson nowadays. I mean, I think I saw somebody refer to him as Flappy Bird, but like it made us look great. So if we get to the goals, then I mean, Vic, was there any? Would you put the blame at anybody's feet or anything like that on any of them?
No, not particularly. I don't think you can single people out for those. I think we've got quite a good defence. I know Thornley got slated when he came on and whatever else, but I do think I've slated Tom Lees for 2 years now. And I don't want to go back against my word because I actually think we are better without him. I do. But there was just something lacking last night. And like I've said before, I don't know if it's keeper situation. I don't want to slate anybody, especially not a Wednesday fan who's grown up loving the club, got into the side, etc. I know James had a go at me for not slating him for that before. But I think maybe it's time to welcome back Mr. Wildsmith. It's blatantly obvious we're not going to see Mr. Westwood ever again. So is it time to switch it up a bit? I don't know. I hate saying stuff like that because I feel evil. But
yeah, you feel like you're cheating on somebody, doesn't it? Yeah. Not so much cheating on somebody, but when you're
flirting with the mate.
No. When your missus rings you up or your fella rings you up and goes, have you? What do you want for your dinner? And you go, I've eaten. And they talk to you like you've cheated on them. Do you know what I mean? Like you've done the worst thing you could possibly do to them. Do you know what I mean? I've just had a sandwich. Like, have a day off. Do you know what I mean? I was hungry, so I ate. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't know where I was going with that. There was a conversation there today. Anyway, so let's carry on with QPR. So, I think it was a poor team performance. I think they were a little more clinical. I think not Dawson's best game in terms of saving goals. And then I like the way you've written this, Eddie, on your notes here. Rangel busting Pudil wide open. There's a wonderful bit on the that you see doing the rounds on Twitter of Joss's reaction to Pudil's injury. And it kind of walks up, winces, and can't even look at it. It just walks away. Goes, it's actually really funny. If you get to see that, that's worth taking a look. But what about the Fletcher chance, Eddie? What about that one?
I say while we're still on Pudil, that was one of those where as soon as I saw it, I couldn't stop myself. I was dancing round the living room, shouting, by God, King, he's busted wide open. As God is my witness, he is broken. It was like a full on. It was Mick Foley versus The Undertaker. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin against The Rock back in the day, WWF. That's as gruesome an injury as we've seen since Terry Butcher. Surely that was an absolute monster.
I was going to say it was Terry Butcher, wasn't it? Like especially the picture he put on Facebook. It was awful.
Yeah, my God. So should it have been a penalty? Was it a? I know it was obviously a high foot when you absolutely dominate someone's face to the point where they're busted wide open. Was it a challenge or was it just really bad luck? Because the Wednesday fans behind the goal were apoplectic. They were convinced that should have been a penner and that should have been our way back into the match.
Bear in mind, we'd been on the beer a lot that day. You know what I mean? So I don't think we were the people to be running that by. I don't think we were the ones to be going, hey, we know what happened. Come and see us. We'll give you a witness statement. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you want to be asking us about it. But yeah, what about that chance by Fletcher?
It was really the only really clear cut chance that we had, wasn't it? As well, it was. Again, like Newey against Boro, there was kind of a little step change as it got later on in the match, and that the chance from Fletch, that was a gilt-edged chance, and I wonder, and I've said this before, that Fletch, because he's not quite bang at it again yet, that's a chance that in form. Fully fit Stephen Fletcher just lashes home, and there's a whole goal at his mercy there, isn't there? When he misses that, that's probably the game gone for us, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, there is a different contrast to us as a team, and I think you're right. I think when what Vic said at the start about the constant changing of the tactics and the formation and the personnel, like we went to Aston Villa and beat them, and we beat them soundly. Do you know what I mean? We were convincing, we were good, we were great. And then you look at that Boro game, they're a difficult team to break down, a la Tony Pulis. And we nearly snatched a draw at the end had it not been for, the rugby tackle that Lee's got on the line. That's probably why he didn't play the QPR game, actually, because he got absolutely smashed. And how that got absolutely just washed over was beyond me.
Yeah,
but I think it's one of those where sensible just reigned supreme and just said, look, let's just call it a kick and let's get out of here. But Wednesday were very poor, and I think that's me done with QPR. I don't think I want to go there again. I don't know if you remember last year I went to that one, took a few mates from down in Southampton, took them up, and we got smashed 4-2. We're 3-0 down at half time. So QPR for me can get so far in the bin, it's almost that little scummy bit that seems to get underneath the bag and you don't know how it gets there. Do you know what I mean? But let's move on. I was go on, Eddie. Sorry, mate.
I was just thinking, the back of these two games. So we went into the international break, 4 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, encouraging performances. Good away wins, keeping powerhouse teams at bay at Hillsborough. 6th place. Everything seemed to be looking up. After these 2 games, how much of a contrast is it? Because I don't know how you guys feel, but honestly, I now feel as a negative about this team and our immediate future as I did when when we couldn't buy a win earlier on in the season. It seems like we really have lost our way, and I can't see a player or a scheme or a match that is going to help us get out of this funk. And the worry for me is that we're going to get to Christmas and we're going to be in a relegation fight. Rather than, 2 weeks ago, we were all thinking, we're challenging at the top of this division. How can it have changed so quickly? I don't know whether it's just me being negative. Do you guys feel the same?
I think inconsistency is going to absolutely ruin us this season. I'm like you, Eddie. When we beat Villa, for example, at their ground, we're going to win the league. We're going to be great. Even when we lost against Middlesbrough, Lee Bullen put an absolute
Lee Peacock's put a video of him clapping.
Yeah, and hover handing these strippers. But Lee Bullen put a cracking tweet out today. Somebody was slagging off the team as per usual, and Bullen sometimes just loses his rag and can't help but get involved. And he wrote before that game, before Friday night's game, we were 6 points off the top in the playoffs. We finished the game, we finished the weekend 6 points off the top, still in the playoffs. And I thought, yeah, we're going to win the league. We're still in the hunt. It's still happening. We're still doing it. And then we turned out and churned that performance out on Tuesday night. And I'm sat there thinking, Sheffield United are going to put us in the right soap opera back here now, aren't they? You know what I mean? I'm petrified about that game.
Exactly.
And I don't see anything happening to not be a repeat of last year.
Do we need a result against Birmingham? Is that what we're saying? Is that we need to go away to St Andrews and... we've had a good record against those in recent years. Do we need to set our stall out again? If we're not going to go into a match at Bramall Lane where we are just absolutely shitting it, and a 2-goal defeat wouldn't be the end of the world, because that's what I don't want. We don't want that. We don't want to go into the Derby game thinking, as long as we're not going to get embarrassed, as long as this isn't the Boxing Day massacre turned on its head. Then nobody wants that. So we need to.
Eddie, can I take you back to a time when Fudge got us some free tickets? I mean, you went to Bramall Lane.
Yes.
And I got punched while he was eating his fish and chips. I'd take that 10 times over right now.
Oh yeah, honestly, I would take. Vic, I love you dearly. I would take you getting punched in the face if it meant us going to Bramall Lane and getting a win. 100%.
So would I.
In fact, if the football gods are out there, if I have to punch Vic in the face in order to get that win at Bramall Lane, I'll do it. I will take that one.
So what we'll do, we'll run a poll at TWWcast. Does Eddie punch Vic so we don't get smashed at Bramall Lane? Just a simple yes or no. That's all we're going to do. So join us next week for the results on that one. But but just the last thought on the current status of the game. And I think you're right, Eddie. I think, is there an opportunity here, Ed, of if let's say we smash Birmingham into the floor, we smash them 3-0. That has to give the fans and the players a bigger level of confidence going into this derby, surely, right?
Oh, and let's not forget, Sheffield United aren't pulling up any trees at the moment. Yes, they're still up there. They're still just about hanging on, etc. But they're not a juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
We need to rediscover ourselves, and I don't know what the key is. Is it the youth? Is it getting, Matt Penny there and Thornley there and Ash Baker and these players really up for this game? Is it the senior players stepping up? Is it just picking some strikers who will actually have a go at scoring some goals, as opposed to this revolving door of players playing alongside each other to no obvious effect? There's no difference in the way that we play, whether we've got Zhao, whether we've got Fletcher, whether we've got Nuyu, whether we've got Sam Winnell, bless him. So it's so frustrating because we don't seem to have a plan A, let alone a plan B. So what we need is a really good performance and for some light bulb to go on, because we can't rely on Barry Bannon to win games for us. We can't rely on Adam Reach to win games for us. There has to be more to it than just riding our luck like that. Vic, does it feel like that, Vic, to you, in terms of there's nothing we can hang our hat on, is there, in terms of what this team is? There's no identity there.
But you've got to say that's a good thing and a bad thing. Like I said earlier, are we relying on one player again? Are we just like a Forestieri and 10 other men team? We're not. We have 3 or 4 players that we're relying on. At the moment, it's still going to shit, isn't it? So I don't.
the football.
I don't know what you want me to say. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Tell me what you want me to say. But listen, I think you're right. I think there definitely needs to be a spike, and there needs to be a definite game plan. There doesn't seem to be one. But I tell you what is important, Vic. If I was to,
yes,
ask who has the better view of the stand on Catch Bar Lane, is it your house or is it the Riverside Cafe?
Well, the Riverside Cafe, obviously.
Well, and why is that? I mean, what makes the Riverside Cafe better?
Oh, I see what you're doing here. Because it's got a bar and they serve food, and me and James are usually there, so that wins everything.
Oh, on Catch Bar Lane, open on match days. Don't forget the outside terrace. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about something better. Now, the kids, the youth. Oh God, this is bloody awful. This is the worst episode we've ever done in terms of good news. Like this is worse than the League One seasons with me, Eddie, and Beastie. Do you know what I mean? So
no, it's not.
No, it's not. It was dreadful. It's before Lord Hillsborough found his GIF app. Anyway, so Youth Watch. Now we know that Vic likes Khal Drogos, but we also know she likes her boy band Youth Kids. But what happened? What happened in the crew game? Because this was exciting for me. I was dead happy with this. Later events pissed me off, but what happened?
I'm not going to lie to you. I like young boys, but I only know what's happened from Eddie's notes. So if you want me to cover it, I can.
I like young boys as well, but it's more about their performance in Europe as a Swiss team.
Yeah.
I don't follow the under-23s. People just keep thinking it's funny to put me on that part of the podcast because I tend to go out with a lot of young under-23s. But I can tell you now,
make it sexy. Come on, just make it sexy.
I can tell you now, Dan Fudge, that the under-23s beat Crew.
And who scored? Tell me who scored, Vic.
I can tell you now. Sam Winnell scored. It was a 1-0
Yes.
game. Yes. And he broke both legs at the same time, pretty much.
I have arrived. Yes.
And then we beat Hull 1-0, and the Tigers missed a late penalty, I can tell you that. And then Liam Waldock hit me up, scored the winner. The under-18s, that's a bit young for me. Under-18s is too young. They lost for the first time this season. They lost 3-1 to Leeds. A week after beating Hull City 2-0. But they're still top of the table, so that's fine. I'm literally just reading the notes. I don't follow the
No, you are. You just
because I like young boys. You're horrible.
What I was plugging away at was the fact that Sammy Winnall played some competitive football and scored the winning goal. You know what I mean? I thought you might want to pick on that. Like,
he got injured doing it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he played 45 minutes against Crew, scored a goal, played 70 minutes against Hull. We win again. This is all looking fantastic. Sam Winnall is a game changer, and then a day later, it's announced, he's injured again. It's his hamstring this time. He's out for 2 weeks. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's literally like my job. I'm a marketing manager, right? It's literally like me being drafted in to go be a marketing assistant in a meeting and just smashing my face onto the table and being like, I'm sorry, I can't do this for another 2 weeks. And then coming back and going, actually, no, you know what? I'll play a marketing assistant, but I'm actually a marketing manager. Oh, no, wait, I've just fallen through an elevator. That is exactly what Sam Winnall does every single week. It's an absolute joke. It's a joke.
And you know what?
Yeah.
If you do that, you go to the Arts Tower and just fall out of the Paternoster and then go off on sick.
Oh,
for
no,
2
I don't
weeks.
like the
Job done.
Paternoster, no. Yeah, but that is exactly what it is, isn't it? Like, Fudge, you manage a bar, right? That is like you going into a pub, pulling a pint and just smashing your face into the pump about 5 times in a row and going, I'm sorry, I can't play next week. Like, it's just a joke. It's an absolute joke. Why are we even playing him if he's that susceptible? Oh, God, don't get me started. I can't do it. I can't do it. You can, Eddie.
Well, that was a beautiful segue into the next segment, which is what Eddie's dubbed Injury Roundup, which I quite enjoy. I quite like the way you've called that.
Most clubs would not have an injury roundup because they've got competent medical staff and players who aren't made out of biscuits. But we have an injury roundup every single fucking week.
Yeah. See, was broke this week. Into Forestieri's out till the new year with a hamstring tear. So that's nice, isn't it? So, I mean, Nando was out for a serious amount of time last season. And then the third one as well here. And 3. We've got Marco Matthias. He's also weeks away from a return. So I'm going to put this question I'll go to you first, Ed, and then I'll come to you, Vic. Now, our injury list. I mean, Abdi, if I told you to write a column, if you could write a column in your head, 2 columns, one that says keep and one that says bin. Yeah? So we'll go through our injury list. For example, let's forget how pretty he is. Sam Hutchinson. Keep or bin?
Bin!
He's got to be binned. You've got to turn up. You've got to be able to play. And he's beautiful. He's a beautiful man, and I love his approach to the game. But it's one injury too many, and it's 10 months out too many. Sorry, Sam. Get in the sea. Sorry, Sam.
All right, Sammy Winnall.
I say if he gets fit, he'll go on loan somewhere. So I've got no idea. Yeah. He's a great player, and he could give us something different up front. But is he ever going to actually make it to the first team?
Keep on.
I quite fancy him, so I'd like to keep him, please.
Right, Vic says
Have
keep.
You just introduced yourself a third type. We'll go with keep. He gets another bite of the cherry because let's be honest, before he got injured for Derby, he was smashing them in. He was scoring them for us as well. And I think, we owe him an apology as a club, if I'm honest. Because we stitched him up. We used him as a backup in case the Rhodes deal went to shit. And then we got Rhodes in, and I wanted it to work so much. I bet, Jordan Rhodes is one of them people who, must be for some people like Brexit. When they voted out and I've got no opinion on it.
Opinion on Jordan Rhodes. He is like Brexit.
Yeah, Jordan Rhodes is Brexit. All those people that went brilliant. It's what we need. It's going to be great. And then later down the line, we realise, hang on a minute, there's no real plan here. That's Jordan Rhodes and Brexit. Do you know what I mean? We've gone right. We're out. People have voted. We wanted Jordan Rhodes in, and there's no plan. We don't know what he's doing. So we might have to have another vote on that. So in fact, that's what we'll do. Vic, keep or bin? Brexit or remain? It's top segues this year, kids. You can't buy it.
So if we're going politically, I remained because I work in higher education, so I'd quite like to keep my job, please. But
no, I'm on about Jordan Rhodes now. You mixed up the metaphors there.
I've watched the interview actually. I guess we're going to mention this now.
Yeah. No, go for it now. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not in the running order, and I added it in a lot later than it should have been. But he did an interview yesterday about scoring. It's obviously like 2 goals at Norwich, brought him back, blah blah blah. And he said something that just alluded a little bit towards that he was being bullied in the dressing room. And I don't like that. I don't like that no matter what age you are. Whether you're an 8-year-old kid being bullied at school or you're a 34-year-old bloke being bullied at work, I don't like that. And I find that quite shocking, actually. Well, not shocking because I know it happens, but I don't... I've got a bit of a soft spot for Jordan Rhodes, not in a rude way. Just that I think he seems like a really nice guy. If you watch that video of him, I think it was like 9 minutes of him going, yeah. He comes across as quite a nice, soft bloke. And the interview that he did yesterday with like Norwich's media team was basically saying that he hadn't felt comfortable in it didn't say Wednesday dressing room, just to clarify that, but it said that a dressing room he'd been in previously, he didn't feel like he could be himself. He didn't feel like anyone talked to him. And he was
he alluded to it being a little bit cliquey, didn't he?
Yeah, he was ostracized, wasn't he? He wasn't one of the cool kids. He wasn't one of the popular kids. And I do wonder sometimes, having known people in the footballing profession, shall we say, that sometimes the good guy that's married with the kids who doesn't want to go out clubbing all the time may well be ostracized. And I kind of get that feeling from him that that's the kind of guy that he is. He's never popped up on my Tinder. Charlie Adams. But he, but I don't know. He comes across as quite. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have slagged him off till the cows come home, and I'll tell him that to his face. But he comes across as quite a nice guy as far as life in general goes. I don't appreciate him not taking the penalty. I don't appreciate a lot of the things that he has failed to do at Wednesday. But I don't like the thought that he's been bullied out of a squad or he's been made to feel uncomfortable about that. And that is how he came across.
But with it being just him as well and being him so nice, I mean, I don't want that associated with the club at all. Do you know what I mean? So let's just, for devil's advocate, assume that he's talking about Sheffield Wednesday and he's trying to engineer himself a full-time move away from the club. I've got no issue with him scoring goals and doing well for somebody else just so he can recoup some of the money back to take a bit of the pressure off the wages and the rest of it. But the question still remains, Vic, are we keeping him or are we binning him?
I would like to give him another 10 games to score at least 2 a game and then bin him. Take the money and run. Because,
what about you, Ed?
Like, if you think 6 months ago, I would have carried him there myself. And that was before I knew that he'd been bullied. So, yeah. And I don't mean this to belittle him at all, just to put that out there. I really don't. Like, if that's what's happened, I really feel for him.
I worry.
I completely agree.
If Jordan Rhodes is Brexit, right, and we're all getting remorse about that. Sam Winnall is basically David Cameron. That he got caught in the crossfire, and then was no longer
ended up getting binned out.
The team exactly got binned off. Absolutely. So what I'm saying, I'm going to change. So if Sam Winnall has fucked a pig, let's bin him. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. All right. Okay. Yep. Fair. That is fair. But what about Jordan Rhodes, though? Do you see a way back for him? What would you do? Spin or bin, mate? What are you saying?
No, he's not got a future at Sheffield Wednesday. It's, hopefully it is a gold-plated bin where we get a load of money back and all that. Those lovely wages can be paid to Matt Penny and Ash Baker and Jordan Thornley and all of these up-and-coming, beautiful young players that we've got who are going to take us to the promised land.
Yes.
So you're talking hard Brexit on Jordan Rhodes. So let's come away from Brexit. Let's talk about some of the other ones. I think Marco Matthias not really worth discussing because I think he's a squad player. I think we'll give him a go and we'll probably keep him on 2-year rolling contracts and that sort of stuff. But like, who else is injured? Let's think about this. What about Nando? Is he just that too talismanic for us to start contemplating whether he's got a future at the club?
I don't think that's how he is at this club anymore. He's not talismanic in the sense that we're a one-man team. He is a saleable asset, and every week that he isn't playing for Sheffield Wednesday, his value goes down, and every week that he does play for Sheffield Wednesday, his value goes up. The key for us and Nando is to reach that happy medium where he is producing for us to the point where another club wants him, and if they make us an offer that is representative of his value, we will take that offer. I see us and Fernando as in the ultimate business relationship. There is no, we're so far past him becoming this Wednesday legend that everybody loves because of everything that he did for the club, etc. It's now a business relationship. What have you done for me lately? And right now, Fernando hasn't done much for us lately. And likewise, we've not done an awful lot for him either. So what we want is for us to come together in a short-term business relationship. He helps us, we help him, he gets a move, we get paid. Done.
Lovely. What about you, Vic?
My thing with Nando is that I think that
was spot on, man. But go on. I think I want your opinion on this one, Vic, because I want you to convince me.
So I think when he did all the shit that he did, he broke my heart. It really physically hurt. It was like being cheated on. The day that he didn't turn up to that game, was that Norwich? Was it Norwich?
It was actually. He didn't get on the bus.
It was Norwich away,
it was the first game of the season was Villa. He scored the 84th minute winner.
Celebrate and then wouldn't go to Norwich. Yeah,
that's right. And they wouldn't get on the bus to Norwich. That's right.
And it physically hurt. I felt hurt It was like going back to the Di Canio days. It was just awful. And he really hurt me. But he has redeemed himself since then. And I know it sounds daft to say that he hurt me, but he did. And I think that people listening to this will kind of probably feel the same because, you know, he's not a boyfriend, he's not a friend, I've never met no, I haven't. I've met him at Wembley. But I don't know him. But it physically hurt. It broke my heart when he did that because I was just like, do you know what? I would give my left leg to play for this club. You won't even get on a bus, blah, blah, blah. But then you have to put yourself back into the real world and realise that it's his job and da-da-da-da-da. And I think that at, how old is he? 26, 27?
Yeah, it might be 28 now, but yeah, he's
28 now.
He's fishing around those.
He's
those
under 30.
Yeah.
He's between 25 and 30. Him and his wife and his son have bought a house very near to me in Rotherham, actually.
I like the way you said that, actually. Him, his wife, and his son, like his son's chipped in 10 grand for the deposit.
And the dog.
The dog. How much did he get?
But they have bought a house, and that is very, very unusual for a lot of modern day footballers, or even 10 years ago, it's unusual. They bought a house nearby. They bought a big house. They have made a life up here. And I think that is quite, I don't know, maybe I'm being naive about it all, but I think that's quite a good hint that he sees a future up here. Now, whether he sees that future here or at Huddersfield or at Rotherham or at Doncaster or at Barnsley or Leeds, whatever. But he's up here. He's bought a property, and it's not a flat. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes they'll buy a flat elsewhere, they'll rent it back to the club, and but
spin or bin, Vic?
Spin.
just because he's bought a house. He's bought a house. Keep him on. Because I want to get to this last one. Because this one. All right, come with me. We're just talking about property prices now. It's like people going down to the marina in Southampton and walking past Frankie and Benny's and not being able to talk about anything else but property values. It's what they do. It's nuts. And a 32-footer that they've got parked outside Cows. Any road. Last one. Kieran Lee. Now, this one for me is one that I wrestle with on a daily basis because I think he's the 100% the player we're missing 100% of the time. The area covers, the way he moves, that type of thing. So, Vic, I'll come to you first. Kieran Lee, spin or bin?
Oh, God, this is awful.
Isn't it? It's horrible, isn't it?
Trying to shoot your favourite child, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, Sophie's choice.
Child.
That's what we'll call this bit. We'll call it Sophie's choice.
I honestly, I don't know. And I can't call it. I'm sorry. I have no opinion on this either way. I'm really sorry.
I've never been able to get my head around it. What about you, Eddie? Have you got any opinions on it? Eddie, we can all discuss whether he may or may not play for the club again because of his injuries. But if you were in charge of Sheffield Wednesday, if you were the gaffer, go on. What do you reckon?
And Kieran Lee, being the sort of player that he has been for us, is that absolute example of a model professional. I struggle to think who else we've got who can step into that. So for me, it's absolutely spin on Kieran Lee. Even if he doesn't play a single game for us again, we need him around to be that link from, even the pre-Carlos side. This team that was hungry and young and got to the very, very brink. There aren't many of those players left, and Kieran is, like I say, the model professional, the very, very best, the archetype of that, and we do need that, and we should cherish it. So I hope that he plays again, but even if he doesn't, then we should have him around because he should be setting an example for the rest of the buggers. Fudge. Fudge got so bored of us after an hour. He's got better things to do.
You can find me out, damn Fudge.
Are we still recording?
Recording.
We are. We're 63 minutes in, Vic. So this is way too much for a podcast.
Yeah.
The listeners are bored. We're bored, but there's still news to be done. So we're going to rattle through it really quickly. Number one, Pigs game sold out. Okay, so if you've not got tickets for Bramall Lane, you ain't going to get them because they're all sold out. Are you going to go, Vic, or are we watching on telly or what?
I'm a fuck. I'm never going there again. I talked earlier about how I got beaten up by a man at the bottom of the moor. Absolutely no way on it.
Once you've seen us win once, you never need to go there again, and that's absolutely fine. So yeah, we've talked about it, haven't we? It's going to be a big game. Yeah, preview next week. We don't care about it for now, but it's sold out. So if you ain't got a ticket, you ain't going. All of this in the transfer window, in the international break about Adam Reach, Wolves want him for £5 million. I think this is just paper talk, but let's just say, for sake of argument, £5 million bid. It's firm. It is in cash, and it's coming in tomorrow. Do you sell Adam Reach for £5 million, Vic?
Didn't we buy him for $4 million?
I think it was five. I think it was £5 million we bought him for, to be honest. So
off,
all right, okay.
Can we talk about Wolves away? Can we tell Wolves away to fuck off? Absolutely no way on earth.
Right now, right here, right now, I've got a briefcase full of cash. It lights up like the one in Pulp Fiction. How much money needs to be in there for you to say yes to Adam Reach? That's yes to Adam Reach being transferred. That's not. I'm not bribing you to sleep with Adam Reach.
I will put money in that suitcase for me to say yes to Adam Reach.
What's the transfer fee? Adam Reach, if he's going away from Hillsborough, what's the minimum we accept?
So we bought him at 5. We bought him at 5. He had a couple of average years, had a couple of good years. I'd say 8. 8.
Serious?
With the buyout. With the buyout clause. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I think that's fair enough. Yeah. No, I agree. I think if we do get that sell-on clause afterwards, I'm 100% behind that. I think in the open market right now, especially in the transfer window, Adam Reach is a £15 million player, but I would leverage that out. He is. Think of the goals that he scores, the ability he has. He's a very, very special player. He's a player that changes games, and they command a transfer fee.
He doesn't change games though, does he? So we start him every week, so he doesn't change games.
But he does. He changes games
and he suddenly made us smash someone 3-0. But as it stands, he's been in 2 very, very shit sides against 2 good teams. So I think 8 would be lucky, and I wouldn't want to take it, but I would take it if it was financially viable.
8 with a very, very good sell-on clause. I think 10 with the anticipation that he goes and performs in the Premier League, and we would get another 5 million off the back of whatever that is.
I must admit, I want him to do well. I hate thinking that about players, but
he's a nice kid, isn't he? He's a really, really nice guy, and that's what Kieran Lee. We talk about Kieran Lee. He's a nice guy. You just want people like that. Jordan Rhodes, you want them to succeed because they're not dickheads. And if there are Wednesday players in the dressing room who are bullying the likes of Jordan Rhodes, then I don't want them to succeed, because then they're part of the problem. They're part of the reason why kids hate playing football, because if they're not the best player on the pitch, they get bullied for it, and they then don't play football. They walk away from a sport that they love. So bullies at any age.
It's like I said, it's not scumbags. Kids. It can be anyone.
These are grown-ups, aren't they? These are grown-ups. Yeah, these are grown-ups. They should know better. Right, so...
But, if a guy at 30-odd-year-old is willing to come out and stand up for that, then hats off to him. Absolute hats off to him for saying that, because it needed to be said.
No bully. Stop, but kick bullying out of football. That should be the new big campaign. So 6th of November, or Wednesday, the final showing of the director's cut, the super sexy, sexually explicit version that will never be able to be released to DVD and to download. We're all going to be there, and we'll talk about this a little bit more on next week's pod. About how we're blessed that we are going to be hosting this brilliant event at the university. It's going to be a phenomenal night, and the beautiful thing is it's sold out, so it's going to be absolutely rammed full of Wednesdayites. We're hoping to do a live podcast from the venue, so there's all kinds of things going on. Make sure that if you've got a chance of getting a ticket, or if you've got a ticket and you were thinking, is it going to be great? Is it going to be not? It's going to be phenomenal. Yeah, get there early, get there often.
I think we can can tell people the secret, Eddie, now.
Go on.
So I
Go
think
on
the plan is, so the film starts about 7:30. So I think the plan is to kind of record a live podcast first. We've never done this before. Well, we did one in the Hillsborough Tap thing, and nobody came. Because we didn't tell anyone. We were just testing the equipment. There was a random man nearby that listened. But I think as it stands, we're going to be recording at some part in my workplace, which is weird, and Matt Exton's workplace. So we'll be recording somewhere. I'm guessing it's going to be in the screen before the film is shown. So if you want to come by, it looks like we may well have James Kay as well, which is exciting because he's beautiful.
Wednesday legend.
Wednesday legend, James Kay. I'm hoping he's going to break both my legs on the night. But hopefully he's going to come along. There'll be me, you, and James. We're going to have a quick chat just before the show, talk about the Derby game coming up. If you want to come and listen to that live, you can do. If you've got a ticket, you can just come in a little bit beforehand. Well, I'm sure the club will put out some info beforehand, and so will we. Then we're going to obviously show the film, and then hopefully get a bit of time afterwards for a bit of a Q&A with Matt about how he made the film and what on earth drove him to give up months and months and months of his life and his own money that could have paid for his son to go to university just to make a film. Because Matt is that kind of guy. He's such a great guy. So that's going to be the plan on the 6th of November. But like you said, it's sold out, so tough shit.
Right, I say, I'm just hoping there's going to be that groundswell of opinion. I want the DVD extra chapter of all of Lee Peacock clapping on the pitch between 2004 2006. Beautiful hair, great clap. That's all we need. That is all Wednesday as far as I'm concerned. So only one bit of business before we sign off for the night. We've got Birmingham coming up on Saturday, haven't we? We've talked about it a little bit. You know what? We've had some great days, haven't we? Birmingham away is much better than Wolves away, if only because we're near the executive boxes where that guy just stares blankly when we go 2-0 up. So let's hope that happens again.
Wednesday, brilliant. Yeah. Let's hope it does.
There's very little to recommend Birmingham. Jacques Magoma might be playing for them again. He's been injured recently, but he might be playing. I'm not tempting fate, but he has never really done anything much against us. Vic, let's just go really quickly. What is your prediction for the game? Are we going to get a turnaround in performance, and are we going to get a win?
No. So I don't want to say my prediction because I feel really bad, but no, I don't think it's going to be good. I'm sorry.
Well, I really hope so. My brother-in-law's a Birmingham fan. It was his birthday yesterday. He would like nothing more than to beat us. Dirty boy. And so therefore I'm going to go 2-0 Wednesday. I think we're going to turn it round, but I don't think it'll be I don't think it'll be that performance that we just talked about before where we said spanking a team. We're not going to spank them. I think we'll get away with a victory as a reaction to how bad the last two performances have been, but it's going to leave more questions than answers. Don't at me. That's just what's going to happen. So we don't have a home game for the Birmingham game, and then we've got Norwich a week on Saturday. Vic, in the meantime, where would you go if you wanted to get a high quality snack and potentially some alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages?
I would head to the Riverside Cafe on Catch Bar Lane, where you would probably find me, Eddie, James, and possibly Dickie of podcast fame. You wouldn't find Fudge, but if you want to find Dan Fudge, you can find him on Twitter at Dan Fudge, believe it or not. Or if you want to find me, you can find me at Victoria1867 on the Twitterage.
And of course, I am, as always, at Sausage Arms on Twitter. I hope I'm going to be back for the Norwich game. I go away to America. I'm going to go hang out with the New York Owls for a week.
As you do.
I hope. Yeah, as you do. It's half term, and you've got to take the kids away somewhere. And Halloween in America apparently is quite a big thing. So we're going to go and do that. I will be back for the Norwich game, holler at me. Any of the, I know obviously the Owls Americast is meeting all your needs, but if you are from our former colonies and you're interested, Football Factory on, I think it's 33rd Street next to the Empire State Building, they will be showing the Birmingham match, and hopefully we will all get down there. In the meantime, it has been another, it's been a bit of a depressing week as a Wednesday fan, but hope springs. It's not, but hope springs eternal as always. I really hope in 7 days' time we're all speaking together and things are looking a lot brighter. In the meantime, everybody, please stay safe, enjoy the rest of this week, and enjoy your time. Good night, everybody. On behalf of Fudge, on behalf of Vic, and myself, Eddie, we had a Wednesday week. And thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Keep up to date with the Wednesday Week on Twitter at TWWcast or on our website, thewednesdayweek.co.uk.